a lot of money down the drain, Steve Jobs, and someone's butt. Yes, seriously, I said someone's butt. This is the history of the Xbox. And no, I'm not kidding. As we bask in the glory of the next generation Xbox Series X, here are some things you didn't know about Xbox. Back in 1999, Sony was getting ready to launch the sequel to their uber-popular PlayStation, simply called the PlayStation 2. The new console was expected to be a true media hub that was able to play CDs, the hottest new games, and most importantly, DVDs. It's easy to forget how big of a deal this was, but in 1999, DVD players could be several $100s. The PlayStation 2 instantly became the most popular and the cheapest DVD player on the market, and it made PlayStation the home entertainment hub for millions across the globe. But watching this all unfold from the sidelines was Bill Gates. Gates was nervous that Sony would take over all of home entertainment, and he wanted to make sure Microsoft didn't lose its spot atop the electronics world. So he commissioned the creation of a video game console around its successful DirectX programming interface. Initially called the Direct Xbox, prototypes were created using Dell laptops with the goal to make a mini PC for console gamers. The system would become the first of its kind and featured an integrated hard drive and Ethernet port for online gaming. The first ever Xbox was crazy looking. It was shaped like a giant Chrome X. Fortunately, that was more of a hype piece than anything, as Bill Gates would show off the final design with his best buddy, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Now, I have no way of knowing that Bill Gates and The Rock are besties, but I really hope it's true.
Did we just become best friends? Yep!
But despite all of the hype, Microsoft just couldn't make any money off their first gaming console. They sold it for $299, but it cost over $400 to make. All told, the original Xbox actually caused Microsoft to lose $4 billion. Halo's the flagship franchise for Microsoft. Its first entry, Halo Combat Evolved, launched in November of 2001. But do you know who introduced the first ever gameplay footage? No, it wasn't Bill Gates. How about his chief rival, Steve Jobs?
We are starting to see some great games come back to the Mac, but this is one of the coolest I've ever seen.
That's right, the Apple co-founder had just returned to his roots, and at Macworld 1999, still held the title of interim CEO. In an effort to show off the power of the newly announced iMac, Jobs invited developers from Bungie Software to show off their newest game, a beautiful and futuristic third-person open-world action game starring a cyborg, and it was called Halo. The demo grabbed the attention of Microsoft, and a year later, they bought Bungie, rebranded them as Bungie Studios under the Microsoft banner, and made Halo the flagship franchise of its soon-to-be-released Xbox console. If you ever find yourself in a battle with a rival company, don't try to put them out of business. Have them pay for your research and development instead. As Microsoft was planning its Xbox 360 console, it sought the help of IBM to make its CPUs. IBM was also working with Sony to develop chips for its upcoming PlayStation 3. IBM even showed Microsoft what it was working on for Sony, causing Microsoft to make a similar order. As luck would have it, Sony never considered the fact that IBM would make chips for its gaming rival, and didn't put anything in its contract forbidding IBM to do so. Thus, Sony's R&D funded the chips inside the Xbox 360. To add insult to injury, IBM had a chip shortage in 2005, causing the PS3 to be delayed. Microsoft did not suffer from this because they made sure to order plenty of backup chips from a third party. They made their release date while Sony did not. Always read the fine print, kids. Once Microsoft had the early advantage in the chip development for their console, they rushed to release the 360 before the PS3. Various reports indicated a hectic development cycle and fears that the 360 consoles were poorly made in the haste to be the first on the market. These fears were indeed realized in the first 2 years of the 360's lifespan. More than 1 in 3 Xbox 360s would fail and need service after showing the infamous red ring of death. This console failure was so widespread that Microsoft could not hide. They were forced to pay over $1 billion in shipping and repair fees. It takes a lot for a company to spend that kind of money to fix a major problem. But reportedly, Steve Ballmer, Microsoft's CEO at the time, ordered the company to make good and fix the broken consoles. Many people within the Xbox team say this quick decision kept Microsoft in the console world. One of the great things about modern technology is the software update. Sure, things may not be perfect with all of our gadgets, but when you buy something in 2020 and there's a bug in the software, you have the hope that there will be an update to fix it. In the mid-2000s, this was not always the case. Games could be released with multiple bugs and be entirely unplayable. Games could also be released with hidden explicit content that could only be fixed by a complete recall and a new version of the game being released. Did someone say hot coffee?
Here we go again.
Anyway, Microsoft had a similar, though slightly less explicit experience when they released Halo 2 on the PC. The mega popular shooter was the original Xbox's best seller and one of the greatest multiplayer games of all time. It took a full 3 years to port it to the PC, and when it finally arrived, gamers found a hidden error message that would show a dude's rear end.
Goo!
Seriously, the .ass error stands for Amalgam Scene Specification Error. Honestly, I have no idea what that means, but it spells ass. And if that error popped up in your original Halo 2 PC copy, you saw a Bungie developer's ass. The story goes that Steve Ballmer visited Bungie and his large personality scared some developers. To show a fearless attitude, engineer Charlie Goff quickly mooned the CEO and a friend took a picture before Ballmer noticed. Bungie Studios got a good laugh out of the prank and buried this photo in the PC code. As is tradition, things don't always stay buried forever. And word spread around Microsoft and Bungie that the butt was in the game code. Much time was spent trying to find it as most companies were terrified of bad press after GTA's hot coffee scandal. The PC release of Halo 2 was delayed and Microsoft even put up a parental advisory on the case just to be safe. Once they found the lewd error message, Microsoft offered a downloadable patch on the Halo 2 website. Tisk tisk, you naughty pranksters. The Xbox has come a long way from coder butts and the red ring of death. And as we wait for the Xbox Series X, we're excited about its future. Until next time, I'm Riley Wynn with Digital Trends, and thanks for watching.